Harlan. So I was reading this book about the debt-free journey, and can you believe it? It's going to require hard work, sacrifice, and maybe even making some extra income. That is right, Harlan. As Albert Einstein said, we cannot solve our problems with the same thinking that we used when we created them. You just got to get started. Welcome to my channel. I'm Harlan D. White, where we're focused on eliminating debt and minimizing the if-only regrets with money. So this week I discovered that I have not been budgeting properly. So as a result, in this video, I'm going to discuss the difference between budgeting and tracking, some changes I've made to my budget. Also, I'll provide an update on my debt-free journey. This is going to be part one of 2 videos. In the second video, I'm going to take what I discussed in this video and show you how I actually apply it towards this week's budget within the YNAB app. If you're not familiar with YNAB, I'll leave some details in the description below. So I've been on my debt-free journey for about 4 months now, and over that period of time, I have managed to reduce my debt by $19,686, which is amazing. However, what is not amazing is the way I tricked myself into thinking that I was budgeting when I was only tracking my money. In previous videos, I discussed how I was able to make some additional income above and beyond my bi-weekly salary. One of them being a bonus that I received in the March timeframe, and others being selling stuff. So I basically sold my home gym of powerlifting equipment as well as some golf clubs. So immediately I took a portion of that money and I put it towards my emergency fund. And then each month I would put together a budget. And that consisted of me laying out all my budget categories within the YNAB app and allocating my expenses that I expected to pay between now and my next paycheck. Once I got down to the bottom after allocating all my expenses, I still had a big bucket of money at the top. So essentially, every time I went over in a particular budget category, all I did was pull it from this lump sum of money that I had sitting around. So I definitely want to thank Kevin, who made a comment on my video a couple of weeks ago about leaving money in my to be budgeted category. Now I understand why you made that comment. So I've basically been budgeting this way since I've been on my debt-free journey. And it wasn't until I did the video on how I budget within the YNAB app where I first gave every dollar a job and allocated all my funds. And also at the same time, I allocated that leftover bucket towards paying off debt. As a result, this week was the first week where I was actually putting together a zero-based budget with only my bi-weekly income. And shocking may be an understatement. Because I've been pulling money from this unallocated bucket of money, I didn't realize what my true expenses were. Because every time I went over on a budget category, I just pulled from this bucket of unallocated funds. I never truly paid attention to how much I was paying in each category. So this week, as I was budgeting and realizing how tight everything was, I started to laugh to myself because another person came to mind was Valerie, who commented on a video around how much I was spending in my food or eating out budget. Because at the time, I thought it was okay because I had budgeted to be eating out. However, looking back, I realized that I hadn't budgeted that amount. I had just tracked how much I spent in my eating out category. And now, looking at my actual budget based on my current bi-weekly salary, I probably should not have been eating out that often. I also had to laugh at myself because just last week I talked about how I wanted to put aside $300 to $600 towards savings above and beyond my emergency fund, in addition to putting $1,500 each month towards paying off debt. And looking at my budget, I'm not sure how I'm going to make that happen quite yet. But I definitely go into more details about this in the second video where I actually walk you through my budget. So here's the key difference between budgeting and tracking your money. When you're tracking your money, you're figuring out where it went after you spent it. When you budget your money, you figure out where it's going before you spend it. So each week I'm constantly learning something new. So if you have any debt-free journey stories yourself, definitely put them in the comments below. So out of this eye-opening experience, I decided to do 3 things. Number 1, to make sure that I give every dollar a job each and every time that I receive some money. Number 2, I decided to split up my savings and givings categories into more detail. For example, in my savings category, I'm saving specifically for a computer. I'm saving specifically for an emergency fund. And the third thing I decided to do was to give myself more visibility into the things that are coming directly out of my paycheck. So things like my HSA, my 401k, my 401k loan, That way I can have better visibility and make more educated decisions in terms of finding ways to free up additional cash that I can put towards paying off debt. All right, so here's the update on my debt free journey. Since last week, I have reduced my debt by $270. $70 was towards my 401k loans, and $200 went towards my taxes. I also have another $800 that goes towards my taxes that I've set aside. However, that's going to come out directly out of my checking account on the 14th of the month. Until next time.